September 21st. Sunday, 2025. I shouldn't multitask. Trying to save time. Well, I had a low heart rate variability for 4 nights in a row. And it occurred to me that I had tea with my dinner those nights, a big large tea. And so I looked up real quick, Google AI results said, yeah, caffeine affects your nervous system, it's a drug, and that could affect your parasympathetic or your sympathetic nervous system and cause your heart rate variability to be low, which means you're stressed. And I know I've talked about this, but so last night I didn't do tea, and then overnight my overnight heart rate variability shot up, which is a sign that your body's happy, healthy. So that was an interesting little experiment. Of course, it could have been a lot of variables. I did take a rest day yesterday. But yeah. So I still kind of felt a little hollow today, kind of, brain dead like in the morning a little bit. Or I'm not sure the right word, but like dashing was kind of, I did a short dash in the morning. Certain things were just kind of more challenging than it seemed like they should have been. And so I took the rest of the day off. I decided to do that. That was hard because I need to make money, but I did that. And then I also just did a walk, an easy walk for my exercise, and just to kind of help boost recovery for myself. And okay, this is kind of weird. Okay, yeah, this is weird. We're at the Walmart parking lot, and these people behind me, they were there this morning too. I think they might have arrived after we went to bed, I don't know. But it's like a trailer, like RV pull behind type thing in a truck. And this morning they were out walking around with like their toddler in their little, the scooter things toddlers are in before they can walk by themselves. They're kind of walking all around the parking lot like that. And there's another car there that seems to be with them, and that scooter thing is just sitting out by the vehicles outside, and they have like a folding table that's just sitting out. And it's like, okay. Walmart agrees to let people overnight here, to get here, sleep, and leave. And these people are setting up camp, literally. It's just frustrating because it's like, if you want to camp, go to a camp campground. There's free ones. There's national forest all around us. Go there. It's free. And you can literally set up camp for 2 weeks straight. But it's like, if people do this kind of stuff, these kinds of things will get shut down. I just don't understand people. Maybe if you're one of those people, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be harsh, but maybe you can explain it to me. Maybe there's a reason. It's like, if you have to stay in town, though, it's like, just make the overnight spots your overnight spots, and then your daytime spots are elsewhere. That's what we do, essentially, because we need to stay in town to work. And I don't understand what would be happening that makes them not able to leave, like maybe just go to the park in the day. I don't understand that. And maybe they're just oblivious. But it's like, that's obviously a thing people are going to have a problem with. You know, you just think about it. People, there are these Karens and things that would not be happy about this kind of thing are gonna, that's the kind of thing they're gonna notice and really get complaints about. And then you got city council meetings where they're like, well, yeah, I guess that's a problem. They're sitting there parked all day and all night, taking up, because it's a trailer, these long RVs and things with trailers, they take up multiple spots. They just pull in, you know, the length of these spots. It's just ridiculous, you know. The ones that get me are the ones that aren't even that long, and they'll just park that way anyway. You know, like this car could take up like 2 or 3 spots if I parked that way. And I think people do it so no one's next to them, but it's like, well, I'm sorry, beggars can't be choosers. You don't have a home. Leave spots for other people. We do that. We don't park like that. And it's just frustrating. It's very sad, because this is such a great spot. This is the first people I've seen do that kind of crap. Well, I think I saw one other person do it, but they were gone after a night. Didn't come back. Anywho, maybe I'm being a Karen. But I'm being a Karen because I know the Karens will really get it shut down. I'm not going to try to get it get overnight shut down. But, so yeah, hoping tomorrow. I hope I can sleep good. Like last night was weird because I slept. Oh, that reminds me, I got to take magnesium. I went to bed and I was just out quicker than normal. I was like out cold, and that's unusual for me. And then I woke up about like 3 a.m. probably, and that's like I was just awake. And I used to have that. I think I was talking about that last night. I used to have that. That used to be common for me. And it's like, I haven't had that in forever. And then it happened. I felt fine. I was like, oh, I'm just awake. And I felt pretty good. But then what do? You know, and I think I talked about this before. Back when we lived in traditional like house or apartment, I would just kind of get up and go sit in the living room, just kind of sit there and exist, you know, kind of just be chill, or maybe read or something quiet. But I live in the van. I guess I could get out, could have gotten out and walked, but that would be pretty raucous, getting up and opening the door and closing it. It's not quiet, especially these automated doors. They're like beep, 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 beep. We have a special guest star. You That's Nikki, my lovely wife. You okay? You okay?
Yeah.
Are you sure? You don't want it to hear you?
Huh?
You don't want to be heard? She got shy. She gets shy. I guess one of these days, a really super mean person will probably get on my comments and make me not want to continue to do this. She's probably just wiser than I am. I actually try to not read comments if I get them too much. I don't think I get them much, but I just want to do it because I want to do it, not because of what people say. But anyway, and then I was like, oh, about 5:30, 6 a.m. I'm tired again. And I was sitting there watching Outdoor Boys channel, which I just love to death. It puts me to sleep, but it's also, I love watching it and getting ideas and learning from it because I like camping and stuff. And the guy is so cool. But so I fell asleep. And I knew the way I felt yesterday. I was like, I need all the sleep I can get. Sleep is like the main recovery thing, I think. I think most stuff I've learned about that indicates that's the case. It's like magic. The power of sleep is just insane. But and I know for me personally, it certainly makes a huge difference. So I went back to sleep. I woke up about 10:30, 10:24, I think it was exactly. It's probably like 4 hours or something like that. So like, I needed it, I believe. I don't know why I get so fried. I mean, I know we work a lot, but it just seems to me like a lot of people don't get so affected. And that's where I think, yeah, I've looked into things like chronic fatigue and multiple sclerosis because I have these symptoms, but I don't know that I have the actual things, but I know I have the symptoms. It's not imagined, and it's real, and I have to try to figure out how to deal with it. You know, I don't go around talking about it much because I'll just like to try to focus on what I can do, you know. But I also don't ignore it because these things keep you from having the ability to just push through things like that. You can push through for a time, but then you break down, and if you push through too much, you have a big breakdown, and then you're just a big dummy sitting on the couch for 2-3 weeks or something trying to recover. So I want to do as much as I can, and part of that is recognizing my limitations and knowing when to ease off. And that's part of why, like, my vlog, my running vlog specifically, is called The Ragged Runner, because I suck. I'm slow. My endurance is not what it used to be. I'm hoping to build back up to that this winter, but I get injured, I get sick, but I keep doing what I can do. I have to be, it's hard. Because I can easily push myself too hard. I guess I'm fragile or something. Sucks to have to face that. What are you gonna do? You just gotta try to be as strong as you can be. And that's what I tried to do. And so, didn't do a workout, just a walk today. Didn't dash in the evening. Nikki wasn't feeling good. She even thinks she's getting sick now. So I guess it's not just me. She's, we're at altitude too. Here is different. Back home it would be the heat. That certainly, I think, is worse. I'm almost acclimated, I guess, supposedly, but my watch listed a lower elevation for some stupid reason today. It's like almost acclimated, or 90, 96% acclimated to 7,020 feet or something when we're, before it was like 7,300 some feet or so. It's like the elevation changes a bit around town. The commonly referred to elevation for Laramie is 7,220, but the east end is higher. You look down on the whole town, which is beautiful views. You've probably seen some of those. It's just stunning on a clear day. There's a lot of wildfire smoke and rain storm clouds that you get, so you can't always get those views, but they're beautiful when you get them. But then the other side of town, I think, is where it's more like 7,220. And then if you keep going west, it goes back. You start going back up to the Medicine Bow range, and then that gets up high, 10, 11,000 feet or more, I believe. And yeah, anyway, so just trying to work with it, be a ragged runner, a consistent runner though. And we're gonna go to Kansas City, I guess, on Tuesday is the plan, and then we'll be dropping down 6,000 feet or more than that, and then so right as I have adjusted to the altitude, I will be leaving. And then I don't know how long we'll be there. Then we'll come back and have to reacclimate again, probably just to be here for another couple weeks. But they say hypoxia training is good for energy. So maybe once I go back to Kansas City in November and stay there, I'll be like having some long-lasting effect. I don't know. And then a benefit, I should say. What Enterprise, rent a car, This car we're in now, if you've watched me, you know that they robbed me of a day where they're like, oh, don't have a car, we'll call you. Didn't call me. I had to give them the next day and be like, you never called me. And then they give me a car, and they're like, sorry, we still have to charge you for the full 14 days because it's Priceline that you have to get the refund from. I call Priceline. They're like, Priceline's like, no, we didn't actually take it out of your bank account. They did that. We can't do that. We don't have your money. And so I was like, okay. Because at that point, it wasn't exactly clear how it was all going, who really was going to be responsible for it. So I looked at it and said, yeah, Enterprise took it out in the bank. So Enterprise is full of crap. And then the car popped up a thing saying, you got to take it to your dealer. They like the auto steering, lane assist, cruise control, whatever crap. It was like, not working, got to take it to the dealer. So I call them like, hey, your car's not working, can I trade it? They're like, oh, let me Google it. Like, oh yeah, it's okay. I'm like, no, don't trust you. They're like, you can just trade it in a different Enterprise. And I'm like, okay. So we go to the Enterprise closest to us. And they're like, I was like, can I do it? They're like, oh yeah. And unbeknownst to me, they charged me. I was just noticing this the other day on my rental agreement or whatever that I got an email. They charged me because I had used a quarter of tank of the gas of that rental that I traded in. And, they're like, return it full. I'm like, don't rob me of a day. And so when I traded it in, the other Enterprise charged me. And they didn't say anything. Which, obviously, yeah, maybe I should have deduced and thought about that might happen. But we were pretty hectic at the time. We were dealing with having to return the damn thing, going out of our way to do that. It delayed us on getting out of town. I forgot to think about that. I think it may have crossed my mind, but I thought, like, well, they didn't say anything. It must just be, when you do this, they don't count that against you. Well, they did. And they charged like $4 something a gallon. So that pisses me off. And so they charged me for a day I'm not getting. They charged me for gas, which I feel like is in an unethical way. And then they're going to expect me to put gas in this one when I return it. I think this one was at a quarter. So at least I only have to get it to a quarter. But I'm like, And now this one is actually saying maintenance required, which we looked up and it's supposed to mean, oh, nothing, kind of just like oil change type stuff or something. But it's like, still, I shouldn't have to be dicking with this. This is your car. You should not be giving it to people when it's going to do that. But we're planning on leaving Tuesday, and it was due back Wednesday at noon. I don't see any reason to drive this back. I don't see a good enough reason. It is nice to have two cars and to drive back in case something happens, but I would like to not have to drive this back and pay for the gas to go back. And I'm going to see if maybe the Enterprise here in Liberty would work with me and be like, yeah, you can just leave it here for no extra charge. And because I'll be like, since you ripped me off a day, because it is directly Enterprise's fault, they didn't have a car and didn't call me back, just let me drop this off here. And for free. And also refund me the time that I don't have it, because I'll be turning it in early. That's what I'm going to try to do. If they don't do it, I don't know what to think. They used to be such a good company. We've rented a lot from them, but this time I just can't believe it. So it's upsetting that you just get ripped off. What am I going to do about it other than try to get them to make it right? They're a huge corporation and I'm nobody, so so anyway, tomorrow I'm hoping to do a good day of door dashing. I'm hoping to feel a lot better in the morning. No caffeine tonight. I took my full dose of magnesium. I rested today, but also got a mild activity to kind of be healthy and make some more money tomorrow night. I'll call Enterprise or go to Enterprise in the morning. And then tomorrow at some point I'll probably work on my writing as well. I've still just been kind of working on the time schedule goal concept. Been writing on that, getting ideas on that, just kind of still chipping away. It's interesting because before we left for Kansas City last time, I think we'd been here long enough. I think we acclimated and we were like in the routine, in the zone, and now we're just kind of like, oh, because of how things went in Kansas City, and then just coming back here and adjusting. It's hard on us, I think. So I'm still just kind of like not 100%. And yeah, some interesting stuff. Keep getting these interesting ideas in the topic that I'm writing on. I know I've talked a lot about it, but I kind of thought of the concept of spiritual warfare today with it. It's like when you're trying to live outside of time, you're kind of at war or at odds with the culture. So it made me think of The Matrix, the movie. Like, you have to kind of, what is that light? What is that? That's weird how that's doing that. Huh. There's not a street light right above me. It's behind me, but it's like somehow coming down through the windshield like that. Let me see if I can do something. That tells you how with it I am. I just kind of accepted that that light was there this whole time and didn't really think to do it. Ta-da! Oh! I've just tucked a napkin behind it. I guess it's got to hang out over in the screen a little bit. Nope. Interesting. It's like being refracted. Is that the word? Because the light's back there a ways. Huh. Above and behind. So, that's where the light. That's the tip edge of the windshield, the top edge of the top right there. And then that's the light, and then I come down and there's the napkins right there. So like you're at odds, like in the Matrix. It's like you kind of, so I was thinking, you kind of have to learn to live within this fungible Newtonian time. Even though you're going to decide to kind of live free of it or outside of it, you really are still having to exist in that culture, like in the Matrix. And they were Neo, for example, was set free from the Matrix, and their mission, I think they said at some point, was to try to free other people from it. And but they would have to go into the system or framework of the Matrix to do that. So it's kind of like you have to kind of exist within that, that framework to make money and stuff and just to exist. But the way you do it is different. And it made me think of the scripture, John, looked it up, John 17, I think, where Jesus is praying for his apostles before he's arrested, if I'm remembering correctly. He says, like, they are not of this world. I can't remember the exact wording. It's not the old say. I think it's funny because I thought of the old phrase, "in the world but not of the world." That's not exactly what it says there. But that the idea is there that they're not of this world, but they are in it. It made me think of that, and it's kind of like that applies if you're going to be a Christian. And this idea, which I talked about before, and I don't even mean just to keep it to Christianity in this context, but if you're going to live the good life, the right, like, was it Aristotle or Plato that talked about the ultimate good? There's this concept that's been around for a long time, and in a lot of cultures of an ultimate good, or doing what's right, doing what's wrong. If you're going to do that, you're not going to bow down to time. You're not going to idolize time or money, and that's the price you pay. And I gave a concrete example of how someone would be tempted to take the low road in a work situation and really to step outside of the matrix or the time, Newtonian fungible time, is to the way to do that is to basically tell the truth and let the chips fall where they may, but and I got on, and the thought of it being like a war against this system is like made me think of like strategy and operations and tactics. Like in war, I took a World War II history class, and they talked some about that. Like you have strategies, the overarching big thing, and then the operations are this subsets of how you're going to achieve that big thing, and then the tactics are this things below that. So it's like, example, World War II Allied strategy, defeat the Axis by having a bunch of different countries unite to maximize the amount of resources, land, air, sea, amphibious, and Operation Overlord was an example of, where the Allies invaded amphibiously in France, and Overlord was to get there to make these amphibious landings, to set up beachheads, or to get on the continent, to open up a second front to hopefully bring Germany to its knees, because that was specifically for Germany and I guess Italy too, which I think people kind of considered to be just part of Hitler's thing, and Vichy, France, which was considered to be like Hitler's guys, and then tactical was D-Day, setting up the beachheads on Normandy Beach, to repel any German counterattacks and facilitate further operations on the continent, the Allied operations. So, if you're applying it to your life, it's like strategy. Don't give in to the temptation to sell out your time for money, or essentially, I guess, is a large part of what we're talking about. And operation, I can't remember at this point what I wrote, but it was like, just do whatever it takes to not. Well, I know on the tactical part, it was like change jobs, or just stay in a job doing not doing the dishonest things, but only doing the things the right way. And third, I said like drastically reducing your expenses, all of the which would reduce your dependence on paychecks and things like that. So I'm drawing a blank on what I said there, but the concept was, kind of fell in line with that Blue Dorn author's advice where people are best off having multiple time horizons. So the strategy is kind of like the long term, the operations mid-term, and tactical is short term, the right now. So that was kind of interesting. I might write more on that, but it's all just kind of my notepad document or whatever on my computer is just full of so much notes on this right now. It's like I'm just kind of randomly putting in ideas, and before I make anything out of it, I gotta reread through it all and move stuff around and try to make it all match up and flow. But right now it's just kind of a lot of random stuff, but it's all under the same topic, of course. But yeah. So, there's like a planet or something out there I can see. A really twinkly looking star, celestial body or whatever. So, I don't know what else to say. Guess I'm tired. I should probably be getting to sleep if I can manage to do that. That was not a caffeinated drink. Seems like it's darker than normal. Oof. So, sorry, I guess I'm a little brain dead still. I guess not a whole lot else to say. We cooked breakfast in the van this morning. Plugged the skillet into our EcoFlow power bank and cooked it right there, because on weekends the shelters in the parks are often taken up, and sometimes it seems like we get kind of some negative attention when we're there every day in the shelters, especially at breakfast time. We were at the library like most of the afternoon and the night even, and we got some snacks. Everything was closed, like in the student union and stuff, so we got some snacks out of the vending machine. And I guess the university makes their own beef, or it was like, I wish I kept one of the packages or took a picture. It was like meat processing or something, or like it was part of the university's program, but like they made these beef sticks and stuff, and they're actually really good. They're actually some of the best I've had. I'm assuming they were super fresh or something, but it was kind of interesting. So anywho, there's that piece of info. Feel like there should be something else, but I guess there's not. We'll see how I feel tomorrow and how Nikki feels. Hopefully we feel better, pretty good and ready to go. We're about acclimated to the altitude and taking our supplements and hydrating, so hopefully we'll feel good and make some money and maybe get this enterprise thing figured out. And and then after that, maybe I'll do a long run Tuesday morning and then head out back to Kansas City to stay there, to live in the van there. Not as cool at night there, unfortunately. But the apartment's not available till November, so we will see what happens. Nikki's going to be helping, I think the idea is helping her grandparents, or her dad and sister and aunt, go through her grandparents' stuff, and her cousin, I should say, her late grandparents' things, and I guess I should DoorDash while that's going on, so I'll probably be dropping her off. I'm not sure how she'll want to do that. Maybe we'll want to rent another car. Maybe we should just extend this rental. I don't know. And then I guess Emma is going to come into town like October 4th or something. So today's the 21st, 22nd. We leave 23rd. The 4th is 11 days. No, it's 31. No, 30 days. Yeah, 11 days. 30 days in September. So, are we going to be there 11 days? Or longer, maybe. Oh, and then I think my sister wants to come back with us. So, I don't know if she might be planning on just going up in the mountains and staying there. I think you might have to be a little careful with snow this time of year, though, because especially I think she's just a two-wheel rear wheel drive. But she's done this kind of stuff in altitudes, and I think this time of year. But I know the other day it was saying on the weather that there's been a lot of precipitation here, and it's been rain. Well, we did have like a slushy thing the other day, but they said above 9,500 it would turn to snow, and I don't know how much snow fell. It's probably melted off, but then, you know, you got to be careful with mud. You get stuck. So, I'm not sure what she is planning on. Maybe she found a KOA or something in town. But I'm assuming if she comes here, she'd want to go into the mountains, the camp too. She may be planning on doing the east mountain, the Laramie Mountains, because those are much lower than the Medicine Bows, and they're pretty cool. I wonder if that's what she's thinking. You know, it makes me think we could be staying in those mountains at night and just coming in here to dash, but I guess that's kind of makes more sense just to be right here where we dash. But if we did that, we'd probably be pretty reluctant to come back to dash. It'd be too nice. But anyway, that's, I think, what I had in there, that I felt that there was something else. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Thank you all for watching. God bless you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. That's the plan. Thank you.